Hey YouTube world, and hey to my Neville Nation. I know you're out there. Welcome to Neville Girl Forever, or welcome back. And on this channel, we discuss and explore all things Neville Goddard and everything related to that. On this channel, we make our dreams come true. So I invite you to join me as my dream life unfolds, and I want to help your dreams come true as well. And so whether you're new to Neville Goddard and hang in there, it'll soon start to click and make sense, or whether you're more seasoned and familiar with Neville Goddard and you're just looking for added support or a journey member, I am your girl. As I went years studying law of attraction, I loved law of attraction, but it was always hit or miss. And then I came across Neville Goddard, and seemingly overnight, my life changed, and I am in love with Neville Goddard and what his techniques have done for my life. So I want to share that with you and help support you on your journey. So I wanted to jump into today's topic, which is the continuation from the last video, I wanted to talk more about the power of I am, and also to ask you this question that's important. I am the person who, fill in the blank, and we're going to go over that because that's pretty powerful. So the thing about Neville Goddard, just to set up the premise for those of you who are new, or as a reminder, Neville, the foundation of Neville is that you and God are one. The part of you that is God is what he would say is your wonderful imagination. And so we are the creators of our reality. And he's given us many, many techniques to work with. I love the thank you prayer. It changed my life overnight. So if a great place to start, and that's where I did, because I never heard of Neville before, but I came across the prayer. Thank you for showing me that this issue, or all of my issues, anything, you can name it or just keep it general. Thank you for showing me that these issues or this issue is already solved. So powerful. If that's all you ever did, I think that's an amazing prayer. But in the meantime, let's continue on with the power of I am. Because if we are one with God, who is the great I am, then we are the creators of our reality, and we benefit from using the power of I am. So who are you, right? So I love just to write out my favorite affirmations. I'm sure many of you heard robotic affirmations, but it's important to listen to what are you saying? What are you declaring over yourself throughout the day? What are you sharing with friends? So I'm just going to throw out some favorite I ams, but think about this. I am lucky. I'm in love, and I am deeply loved. I'm living my dream life. I'm physically fit. I have an amazing metabolism. I'm attractive. I am super successful. I am a world traveler. Think about who it is. Think about who, what, where, what, when. Think about what it is that you want. And what would your dream person, if you were your dream version of you, what would that person say? What would they declare? What would their I ams be? And that's why the question is, I am the person who, and then you fill in the blank, because that's very, very powerful. So I ask you, who are you? Answer the question, I am the person who. And we're going to get into that about certain topics today, because it's really important how you answer that question. Because what we are doing, we are vibrationally declaring and holding a version of yourself with using the power of I am. So answer for yourself, who are you? Start to write it down. Think about it. Dream. Go big. Be bold. Because we are the creators of our reality. And it's really important what we're speaking over ourselves. I think it's lovely to do sats in the evening and go to that place where we are actually creating or in our new version of reality. and then you come out, if you've properly sat, if you've really gone in and done the movie loops where you've experienced things first person, that is your new creation, right? And you bring that feeling back with you. You will come back from that sats, especially if you've held it long enough or done it enough times, where you have a vibration about yourself and who that person is, which is your now new truth. Even if you don't see it, feel it, experiencing yet, because in our daily lives, we have old remnant energy around us. So it is important, through understanding what your dreams are, who are you, and what is your new I ams. That version of you, that dream that you had about that topic, that situation, who is that person? What would that person say, right? I think it's really important. Those are big important questions, because yes, it is just the matrix. It's just a simulation. But and it's lighthearted on so many, you don't want to take it too seriously, because now you're starting to realize, okay, I get to create my reality. But what is it you're wanting to create? And that is the part that's, I guess, serious, is that who is that person, right? So it's the power of I am. What are you saying about yourself? And we are all great, powerful manifestors. What we focus on grows, whether it's positive or negative, right? So with Neville's processes, it all helps us energetically keep our vibrational eyes on the prize and our knowing that we are the creators of our reality. Especially when things start to unfold, you'll start to see that how powerful we are. And that's the most important thing to know, start to know and understand, that you are the creator. Think about and pay attention to your words, and what are you sharing and declaring daily? That's another question to ask yourself. You know, you want to have great awareness, just like Mary Morrissey said, pay attention to what you are paying attention to. Notice what you are noticing, because that's going to tell you a lot about where you land on any given topic. And it takes a while. It's a muscle to build for sure. On any given topic. So you got to start somewhere. So start with your first favorite couple topics and start to work with it. And that's what a lot of these videos are about, whether it's myself or someone else. We're here to help you focus and stay in alignment, which is just staying on topic of what you're trying to create and not on what you're not trying to create. And so I wanted to talk about that noticing. Start to notice, and when you're going to work or throughout the day, what are you sharing with friends? What are you speaking over yourself? What is it that you truly want to share? Is it like, oh, I feel tired today. Oh, I am not feeling well. That's where a lot of people get into the whole thing about being delusional, and delulu is the more modern vernacular version of it. But in a way, it's important to actually be so aware that of what you don't want to say. Well, you want to zip it, because you are going to now, with your now opened eyes, spiritual eyes, start to realize, what is it that you've been claiming over yourself throughout the day? What is it that you actually share? When you call up a girlfriend, or a guy friend, what are you actually saying? This is what's going on in my life. And you might say, well, Neville girl, but these are the things that are going on in my life. So I feel it's very important to share. I need support. I understand. But when I came across Neville Goddard, and of course I've been studying law of attraction for a long time, I was aware that number one, and it was really affirmed with studying with Neville, zip it, don't talk about what you're trying to manifest, number one. And also stop talking about what is going on in your current reality, because that's old news. That's old energy. You're just walking out things from old thought patterns, old energetic vibrations. They still linger around for a little bit while you are, if you want to call, ushering in your new vibrations, or trying to hold fast to them. The old energy has to clear out. So the very worst thing you could do right now is to talk about it. I know, it's not easy at first. It's a habit. But like any bad habit, some habits got to go gotta go. So, gone are those days. Calling up that ring, talking to your friend and saying, hey, this is what's going on. Unless it's not something positive, if it's not the latest and greatest of what you've manifested, zip it. Because you want to let that old energy die out. Remember, wherever focus goes, energy flows, and you do not want to give any additional supply of focus of supply over to the old. Let it go, let it just keep fading out, and keep focusing now on what it is you are aligning to, trying to usher in. What are you trying to, like I said, create or manifest? But we talked about it in the last video. It's really an alignment, but we'll get into that a little bit more. So when I first started working with Neville more closely, I mean, I used to just do manifestation techniques. I became a life coach and everything else, but there was some emphasis, but I never was so clear on, you can't go and do all these processes and spend half your day doing XYZ PDQ, because I had built a lot of muscles as far as, like different methodologies to go over, but that doesn't, it almost cancels out if you're going to go and do that. But yeah, call up a girlfriend or a guy friend and then talk about it. Talk about what's not going right. You know what? If you want to enhance your manifestations, please talk about what's going right, or just zip it. And I know that's a challenge and it doesn't seem normal. And you're going to notice something too. So when so many things were starting to roll into my life that were amazing. Number one, my friends noticed, whoa, what's happening? And I had all these amazing things to share. But then they also started to notice, slowly but surely, because I had so much to share at first, they're like, oh, wow, this happened and then that happened. And, I'm going here and I'm going there, all these amazing things. And then they started to slowly but surely notice I wasn't sharing anything negative anymore. It was a decision. I had decided that not only did it feel so great to talk about what was going right in my life, but I also started to realize it didn't feel so good talking about what wasn't, and I was letting everything go. And I was just keenly aware that sharing anything that's old news is just old news. Let it just die out. But that also did, honestly, cause some confusion. Now, could that be an assumption? It could, but we are in the matrix, and people are used to talking about their problems. When someone asks you how you're doing, sometimes it's just general nicety, but also too, they're expecting also like an answer. How did that thing go last week? How did your dental checkup? And then, how did your test go? If you're in school, or how, but you really want to be in that delusional state, because if you see something that pops up, this is now your opportunity also to work on something. And we're going to talk about that too. So you don't want to talk about it. If something comes up and it didn't go exactly how you wanted to, this is your opportunity to actually reframe everything on that topic, explore how you got there. In other words, why have you held that belief there? Okay? Because it's going to show you something. If we are creators and you could pick a vibration on any given topic, then you might ask yourself, how did you not get a good exam, right? It's like, oh, well, I forgot to affirm. I forgot to do my sats, or I never get good test results, so I didn't think I would now too. I mean, there are a lot of different versions of working with Neville Goddard and these manifesting techniques with the law of assumption that work even if you don't believe it will. Neville Goddard talked about climbing the ladder. You could write down on postcards, I will not climb a ladder. You visualize at night that you're going to climb a ladder. Guess what? At some point, if it feels so real, you will climb that ladder, even if you told yourself not to, because at some point it is going to happen. So there's a lot to say on that on that topic, and we will talk about so much of it, but that's something I wanted to talk about today, because as people start to notice that you're no longer discussing the negative, that's going to seem odd. And some people are going to feel left out, as in, like, why don't you want to share an issue anymore? I mean, are you not still mere mortal? Do you still not have issues? Well, I had to let some friends know that I had a lot of amazing things going on in my life, yes. And then if there was something else coming up on my radar, that I really was choosing not to talk about those things, that now I had some processes that I had to work through, or work with those issues, if you want to call it that, those vibrations that I'm working through. So not everybody's going to understand. I mean, sometimes you just say, there's a lot of things going on. I just don't want to talk about it right now. However you want to handle it. But people will notice. And you just have to know what it is most important, I guess is the way I'm going to say it. Is it more important for you to share what's happening right now because there's that immediate instant gratification of support? Or are you going to take your energetic bull by the horns and say to yourself, I know who I am and what I am wanting to create. I am the person who... And you want to make sure that that person who your answer to yourself should be, if you're in that space where you're really wanting to create, the person who it's something positive. So you don't want to talk about the negative. You really don't. It might take a little while. It did take a little bit, but I had so much to share at some point. But from previous years, my friends were like, wow, this is so different. You have all these great things going on. But then they're like, okay, but like, what else? Is there something else going on that you want to share? No, I really don't. Because everything is wonderful. Isn't it wonderful? So you will seem a little doolulu. It's up to you how you want to handle it. And you can always have the assumption that you have an amazing friends who are understanding and supportive. But as your energy changes, you're going to have relationships change. And you can use a lot of different processes to have your friends change along with you. But there is just going to be some energetic fallout. There might be friendship changes. So, warning, and I don't think it's bad. When we change, our world changes around us. We're bringing in manifestations. Our friends, the people around us, they are us pushed out. And they are mirrors for us as well. So it's important to note that if you have the assumption that you have amazing friends, either your friends will transform and understand, or friendships might change. And I don't think that's something to be afraid of, but I think it's something to be aware of. Because again, if we are the creators of our reality, and we are creation, and we're holding this space for creation, we can always be grateful for what they're mirroring back to us. And then we also need to be aware that you take those mirrors, you take that information, and you move forward with it. And again, you can hold the affirmation and the assumption that you have amazing friends and people around you are always very supportive, and see what happens with that. You have to trust the process. But that's something I did notice, and conversations will change. But it's important. You're in charge. You are the manifester. And it's really, really important to really ponder that and ask yourself, what do you want to say? I am the person who. And what do you want to speak over your world? What do you want to speak into reality? So all that to say that there's one technique I really love by Neville. There's so many of them, and I try and use different techniques in different situations or whatever feels inspiring. But because now we're in a space of where we're not wanting to share issues, because we are under the spiritual understanding now that not only to zip it about what we're trying to create, because that's a very special space, but also we don't want to talk about issues. That's old energy. if it becomes so clear and clicks with you that that's old energy, you don't want to talk about old stuff. You just want to let it go and see what happens from there. Hold positive assumptions. Hold positive assumptions that people understand you and you have a lot of support, etc. So let's talk about Neville's telephone technique, because if you're not going to be talking so much on the phone anymore, you're going to be journaling, you're going to be satsing, you're going to be doing your affirmations, and we're going to go do a video, quite a few I'm sure, but we will be doing videos about some of my favorite affirmations, what works for me. I think I spoke about music. It's important to really be aware of what you're taking in and focusing on. What are you going to let surround you? So Neville's telephone technique, and I like to call it the oh my God telephone technique. And the reason why is it puts me in a different vibration. It has such a powerful vibration and frequency, because with this technique, what you would do is think about the person, place, thing, scenario, just like a Sats at night. And what you want to do, you want to close your eyes once you're clear on what it is, and think about that scenario of what you would actually want to call and tell a friend. And so I know when I am excited about something, that's why I like to call it the oh my God or the OMG telephone technique, because when it's very exciting and you're creating a scenario for yourself, it's very exciting to just think about picking up that phone, or texting, but the phone, let's use it, even if it's a little bit more old school, but think about it as in like you're so excited that, oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell my friend this that happened, right? So close your eyes after you've thought about your scenario. Imagine picking up that phone and then your friend answers, whatever friend, imaginary friend, I don't know, your mom, your dad, anybody, however, what works for you, and say, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what just happened. I love that so much, because when I go and close my eyes and I'm imagining that I'm sharing it, I know what it feels like in my daily life because I've experienced it. We all have, like, oh my gosh, I did pass that exam. Oh my gosh, whatever. Or if you had the negative, the opposite happen, let's just say, I don't want to call it negative. If we had the opposite happen, that shows us where we need to work energetically. But now you want to give a different report. Oh my gosh, even though maybe something happened with that exam. Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe it. This is amazing. I passed, because that you want that vibration about whatever it is to be your dominant vibration. You want to let go of the old. And so I love that technique so much, whether it's an item, you're not going to believe it, I just wanted a new iPhone and oh my gosh, right? It's just another way to hold yourself in alignment, because as I mentioned in the previous video, when we are aligning to our manifestations, it's keeping a continuous focus vibrationally and attention vibrationally on that topic, whatever it is. So I love this one because it could be playful and fun. Now, it's not going to be for the person who has a difficult time imagining. Maybe, I don't think you have to imagine all of it. It's more the feeling. So even if you could just have the dialogue and you can't picture it all, just it has a really special feeling. So it's another version of Sats in a way, but I feel like you could do that at any time. That's one that's like a quick minute break that you could do a couple times a day. I know quite a few people, and I'm trying to do it myself, where I set my timer for 3 specific times a day or 4. Those time slots are not always available, but I still have my alarm go off X times a day, and if I have that moment, I will take it, and that's an example of a process I love. Just closing my eyes and calling up a friend, ring ring, imaginary, and saying, hey, guess what just happened? This is so exciting. And revel in that, because that's short and sweet and to the point, and vibrationally it keeps you there. So it's another way to hold that vibration. So we are all amazing manifestors. We always have been. And so in the past, you might have manifested things and you didn't know how you did it. It's usually because we had no resistance on the topic. Wasn't a lot of chatter going on. You just didn't have, you had a neutral vibration on something. But with Neville, we want to get more specific, because now we have formulas that we can use that help keep our vibration where it needs to be. So I know I've manifested things previously, but it was hit or miss. Now we can do it pretty much ultimately at will at some point as we build those muscles of manifestation. So we are here and we are all about expanding and knowing and understanding that we can, we are the creators of our reality, and that we have ways energetically that we can now rinse and repeat. And that's why I love Neville, because some of it's not complicated, like the thank you prayer. Because here's the thing, also vibrationally, God, universe, source, only says yes. Only says yes. And it doesn't hear no, and there's no judgment on what it is that you're trying to create. So your vibration, your frequency, your focus is your currency. It is your request. If you say, I'm not going to climb a ladder, universe only hears climbing a ladder. If you're going to say not, it doesn't hear the word not. So you can, I mean, there is the knot technique, and I do like Neville's knot technique. You know, if you've been doing your sets on your dream life, that's another way to go about it as well. Something you can take while you're driving in the car. Again, these are just muscles that you can develop of just ways to hone in and focus like a laser beam. But you can say the knot technique. You say, I don't want $10 million because I already have $10 million. I don't want my dream life because I already have my dream life. I don't want my dream car because I already have my dream car. So that is another version as well. So it doesn't matter what you're saying no to. Anything that you resist persists, because the universe doesn't hear no. It just hears whatever. So like the war on drugs. No, say no to drugs. The universe just hears drugs, more drugs. And that's just a good way to paint a picture for you. So that's why I think so many of us here on YouTube who are sharing the law of attraction, specifically the law of assumption, is that it's important to know what our assumptions are. And that's why asking, I am the person who, and then pick the techniques that work for you, and explore with them. I mean, my original vision, even before I started Neville Girl Forever, is that I knew that I was trying out a lot of different techniques before this, trying to figure it all out. And I wanted to report back to friends, to my YouTube channel. I wanted to say, hey, this is what's working. So that's why we discuss so many different versions of how to stay on topic vibrationally, because it's important. What are we focused on? So, and the more you focus on your desires, being here and now, and just as Neville was discovering, when he was discovering the true power of his God self within, and that his mentor Abdullah, when he was already trying to help him understand that if he had wanted to be in Barbados, it's not I want to be in Barbados. If you've decided as creator, as part of God's source, God, universe, spirit, you make a decision. This is what you want. This is what you want to experience. You want to have this experience. And so you are in Barbados. Just like Neville, when he was in New York trying to get back to Barbados, we are also, you don't want to try to get back to Barbados. You want to know that you are in Barbados, and not talk about how you're going to get there, or how you're not sure you're going to get there. What if you don't get there? If you just have to be clear on what it is you want. So the desire of just knowing what you want, you need to get clear. And all these processes are to help you to stay in the vibration of Barbados, in the vibration of whatever is your dreams, one aspect of your dream life, or all of it, right? Isn't it wonderful? Everything is just wonderful. You already have it. It's already here. And that's what all of us here on YouTube in this community are here to remind you. I don't think you can hear it enough different ways. It took me forever just because you can intellectualize it for a long time and understand it and hear stories. But at some point, you need processes. And that's why I love Neville so much, where it finally eventually clicks that it is you that is the creator, and instant manifestations. And we're going to talk about it. The last one, the small one, and like I said, I don't like calling any manifestation large or small. They're all manifestations because, again, assumption. If you're going to assume certain things about the size of a manifestation, as you start to pick smaller things for yourself or that you have less assumptions about, I feel like those are perfect ways to see that you are actually manifesting, and pretty instantly, because you send a text. If you have an assumption about what you want as a response in a text, you can play with that. See, as an example, you want to specifically pick out what you want to hear from that person and visualize it and picture it as it's happening. You sent a picture. You want to visualize, say it's with somebody that you don't know so well, but you want that person to love that picture. If you have an iPhone, you want them to heart it, and you want them to say XYZ about it. You want to have that visual for yourself and see if it just doesn't happen. Don't think about anything else. Don't think about like, what if they don't like the photo, or what if they don't like what I said. Just think about that scenario. You sent a photo, you want them to heart it, you see it popping up in your mind like that, and whatever comment that you wanted to hear back, and see if that doesn't happen. Start practicing with little things that it doesn't matter if it didn't happen. It happens. It will happen, especially if you're not allowing for any of the other chatter to come in. You're just thinking about what you want, and you'll start to see how powerful you are. Pick little things, and we're going to start to talk about little things like that because it's important. So pick little things so you can start to understand how powerful you are. And we'll start to get into other topics, even like robotic affirmations. There's no one given technique that I think all works for everybody all the time. I think they all work, but we'll find our favorites. And we're here to talk about as many techniques so that there's things that we can use for different situations or different kinds of scenarios in our life and the kind of people we are, like what makes us feel good in the manifesting process, what makes us feel empowered, and what makes us know that we are that we are one with God, and God is our wonderful imagination. What are we wanting to imagine for ourselves? And when you answer, I am the person who, and say you didn't pass that exam, well, it's a chance to ask yourself the question, how did you get there? What belief is there for you? What assumption is there that you would make that decision? Because if you're that powerful, and if it's starting to dawn on you, oh my gosh, I'm that powerful, then that's just a new decision you need to make for yourself. That you want to start to answer it differently, and then use these different techniques to create a different version of who you are. So if you find something isn't going the way you want, you have to ask yourself how you got there. There's a belief there, and that is your opportunity to flip it around. As Abraham Hicks would say, it's a pivot, but it doesn't matter what words we use. It's an opportunity. Now you can answer differently. So he's like, I am an amazing student. I am super smart. I ace every test. I am super successful at what I'm studying and where I'm going with things. I always get what I want. I am used to getting what I want. I am used to acing exams, even if I don't study a lot. Like, if you aren't having those conversations with yourself, which clearly, if you didn't ace something, an exam, I'm just using an example, then it just tells you this is an opportunity. Remember, it's the matrix. And also the world is mirroring back to us our beliefs. So you get a report you don't like, you have to ask yourself, who are you and what decisions have you made energetically before that got you there? Don't beat yourself up. It can feel that way sometimes. You just got to forgive yourself and then realize that it's time to make a new decision energetically and with your words. Start using the power of I am. Start journaling it out. We're going to talk a lot more about journaling and all the different techniques you can use to stay on point with your vibration on a topic or a new decision that you have made on that topic. You don't like a report you got back on something, it is time to use your power of being one with God, universe, source, spirit, and using the power of I am and all these wonderful techniques that all of us are talking about out here, finding the ones that work for you to make new decisions energetically. And that can be exciting too. Like I said, don't beat yourself up. I think we've all been there, and it'll still come up for me as it will for any one of us who are in this community. Even if we've had some greater successes, you'll still discover a new topic, and then it's a time to go, oh wow, why would I think that about myself? Why would I imagine that? That must be really old, or I've never even questioned it. You know, some people never question, and that's what has opened my eyes so much working with the law of attraction and law of assumption, especially the law of assumption. Why would I assume that about myself? Now, like I said, it's not a reason to get all sad and mad. It's not. It's power. That information is powerful. You are powerful. I'm here to remind you, you are powerful. We are powerful, and we are creating our reality. And we are here to focus on the version of ourselves in the multiverse with all these lovely techniques and create new assumptions and to usher in our dreams. And sometimes you just have to discover that there's something in your energetic cross, so to speak. Embrace it, acknowledge it, be done with it. And then that gives you clue as to what you want. Because if you know what you don't want, now you know what you do want. It's a quick pivot. And it is a muscle. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it'll even go under my radar. And gosh, I've been studying this stuff for years. But that is a new opportunity to answer who I am on any given topic. So maybe write out on a piece of paper, say, I am a person who. And then when something happens in the next week, 2 weeks, month, that comes up and you were like, wow, I didn't see that coming and I didn't like that result. That just since the world is us pushed out, it's information. All it is feedback. Feedback that's something that you haven't addressed yet. It's okay. It's cool. It might be a bummer for a minute. It's true that. But at the same time, all it is the universe giving us feedback, and it's opportunity to make new empowered decisions. So you got this. We got this. We are powerful. You are powerful. I'm here to remind you, you are powerful. You can do this. And if something comes up in the next couple weeks or month or whatever, and you've been having all these great things happen with, whatever techniques you've been doing, and something pops up, just opportunity just to say, I'm going to make a new decision on this topic because I didn't like that result. I'm looking for new results. You just have to make a new vibrational decision. It's that simple. So don't dwell on it too much. I know that's a temptation. I know we can feel bad. If you have to feel bad, let it go, as quickly as you can, because the longer you dwell on it, remember where focus goes, energy flows. So drop it as quick as possible. Forgive yourself, move on, and find a new answer to fill in the blank. I am the person who, and make a new decision. So start making your list. Write it down on a piece of paper. I am lucky. I'm great at tests. I am in love and deeply loved. I am living my dream life. Whatever the topic is, or just go general. But, you know, obviously if something comes up, it's just an opportunity to just observe what just happened and not get too much into the why. It could be why. Like everybody in your family has this one particular thing going on. Okay, well, you can make a new decision, right? And so I think that's the best place to leave that for today. This is, I think, my longest video, but I really strongly believe that if we are going to be manifesting our dream world and we get results we don't like, it's an opportunity for us to observe something within ourselves, be honest, move on, make a new decision, become empowered, and empower yourself further by answering a new fill in the blank on I am a person who. And then you can do your subliminals, you can do your I am affirmations, you can do your SATs, your oh my gosh, guess what technique, all those things, and all the journaling. And there's so much more to talk about this, but this has been long enough, but I'm just here to encourage you. So that's what I have to say about that for today. So I don't know where you are in the world today or what you're trying to manifest, but I hope you're having the most amazing day. And I am holding a space that all of your dreams, all of our dreams, but all of your dreams have come true. And until the next time, bye.